Somewhere in South Africa, the state is having a very serious conversation about microphones, not guns, not corruption networks, not the quiet systems that have mastered the art of operating in plain sight. Microphones, because in 2026, the most urgent threat to society appears to be people talking without permission. At the same time, somewhere else in the country, a congregation is being promised miracles on a payment plan. Financial breakthroughs are packaged like airtime bundles. The pastor speaks, the crowd believes, and the offering basket circulates with more consistency than accountability. Millions can allegedly move through these spaces, but oversight somehow never quite arrives. It seems when faith and money meet, regulation suddenly remembers it has manners. Then there's the taxi industry, a structure so deeply embedded it functions like a parallel authority. Routes are controlled, disputes escalate quickly, and entire communities adapt to its rhythms. Everyone knows how it works. Government knows it too. But regulation here walks on eggshells, carefully, slowly, almost respectfully, because that's not a fight you enter casually. And yet, in the middle of all this, the spotlight swings back to podcasts. The guy with a mic, the woman with a camera, the conversation happening in a bedroom studio with LED lights and Wi-Fi. That's where urgency lives. That's where policy drafts are born. Because nothing says national crisis like unfiltered opinions. Of course, the reasoning sounds responsible. Misinformation, harmful speech, the need for standards, all valid concerns. But they start to feel selective when placed next to everything else that continues, uninterrupted, unchecked, and often unquestioned. Because if this was purely about protecting the public, the approach would be consistent. The same energy would travel across sectors. The same urgency would apply where the stakes are higher. But that's not what we're seeing. Instead, we're seeing something else, something quieter, but more telling. A pattern. When speech exists outside the system and grows too quickly, it gets regulated. When power exists inside the system and becomes uncomfortable, it gets managed. And when something is too complicated, too entrenched, or too risky to confront, it gets left alone, just because it's difficult. Which brings us to the SABC. A public broadcaster funded to serve the people creates a political talk show designed to ask questions. Then the show disappears. Officially, it's about costs, performance, programming decisions. Unofficially, there are murmurs. Reports that the questions were becoming a little too sharp, the interviews a little too uncomfortable. That accountability becomes inconvenient when it starts landing too close to home. And just like that, the space shrinks. So the question isn't really about podcasts. It's about control. Who gets to speak freely, and for how long? Who gets regulated? Who gets ignored? And who quietly disappears when the conversation becomes uncomfortable? The louder the independent voice, the quicker the rules arrive. The more powerful the structure, the softer the approach. Until then, regulating podcasts will continue to feel less like solving a problem and more like choosing the easiest one. It's not the noise that's the problem, it's who gets to make it. What do you guys think?